I'm Hilary Thomas, and together with my husband Wayne, we serve with Operation Mobilization in their US headquarters in Tyrone, Georgia, just south of Atlanta.
Hi guys, I'm James Hughes. Some of you know me. I happen to be the Development Director of Street Pastors at the moment. I haven't always been that.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Moira Smith, and this morning I'm speaking to you from outside Manila in the Philippines. This is my 13th year of working with OMF International in Asia, in a role that supports missionary families and their kids, particularly in the area of education.
Hello, I'm Jenny Taylor. I became a Christian when I was 11 years of age. I've always had an interest in mission, and my brother was actually a missionary in Africa, but I never had the chance to go abroad.
For 4 Sundays in a row, we just spent time together as a family at home and just poured over the scriptures and talked and discussed, asked questions, shared life lessons, and prayed together.
It's funny, I was just chatting to the Lord on the way home, saying thank you, and as I was driving down the A90 towards Newton Hill, I felt like God began to speak to me. Just quietly at first, and then I began to realize that it was Him, and He was saying simply that the preach and the text that I'd used that night wasn't just for those young people. It was a direct challenge to me.
In 2001, the founder member of Somebody Cares America came over to Aberdeen through a mission that we were doing in 2002. He told us the work that he did in Houston, in downtown Houston with the needy. And this planted a seed in my heart.
In 1988, I was just finishing a 2-year assignment as a homeschool teacher for a family from Birmingham who were helping to establish a church in the northeast part of Thailand. I had already been a teacher for 2 years, and so this was a short-term opportunity that I went on. When I was finishing off there, I was asking God, what is it that you have for me to do next? In Jeremiah, God tells us to build houses and plant gardens in the way that He told the exiles to build houses and plant gardens. In other words, to live as if you're there for a longer season, not just waiting for the next transition or the return. At the same time, God also spoke very clearly from the story of Jacob in Genesis 28. It says, I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Now, I was reading that in Thailand, and what I heard from God was that He would bring me back. And so in April 1988, I arrived back in Aberdeen. I did as the Lord had suggested, and I did my best to invest in job, in church, in friendships, and I did buy a flat, and I did plant a garden.
And we know, don't we, in church, that the primary way God speaks is through Scripture. And I began to well up. I realized God was speaking. I had to pull over in the car. I think maybe the invitation to walk on water wasn't just to Peter, it was to a lot of the guys. And the amazing thing that Peter did walk, but some of the others stayed in the boat. And God directly challenged me. Are you going to stay comfortable? Are you going to settle?
But in 2002, after we did the mission in Aberdeen, I had a strong urge to put on the television, and on the television was a program all about the Dream Center in Los Angeles. Through that, I really felt God saying to me that out of small beginnings, these things can happen, and this is where I felt the urge to go out and start Somebody Cares in Aberdeen.
we believe that made a difference in all of our lives. We felt very much drawn closer to God through it, and had the joy as parents to see both our girls go deeper with God.
It has taken up most of my life, but it's been a tremendous journey, and to meet the needs of people in Aberdeen, and hopefully through them getting food, furniture, clothes, whatever their need is, and that we can supply, that we can help them on the first rung of the ladder, and through our love, I hopefully see that they see God's love in us.
In 1998, unexpectedly, God made a way for me to return to Asia to teach in a school in Malaysia. The school was closed in 2001, and the way opened for me to move to Singapore, to the OMF headquarters, to start a new work in supporting missionary families who were homeschooling their children. Then 3 years ago, I was part of discussions about the need to take take on a new role, coordinating support services for families working in North Thailand, China, Mongolia and Laos. Because of the different experiences I had had, it seemed like a good fit for me. The rest of the support team would be living in Chiang Mai, North Thailand, so I would have to live there too. And so, fast forward, on 6th of January of this year, I moved to Chiang Mai in North Thailand. Professionally, I feel like I'm being stretched in all sorts of directions, but I now have a home and a small garden in Thailand, and I'm now back in the land that God promised to me 24 years ago.
Having gone through that experience, one of the main things that has come out of it is that I've been able to encourage another mum in our local church who's going through a tough time with struggles with her family, and just to be able to come alongside her.
All I knew is that God was calling me, I think, to something beyond City Church, and it was linked to not being paid any longer by City Church. I was nervous, and for those of you that know my wife Victoria, you can imagine her reaction when I got home that evening and gently began to sort of drop hints. And then we had a proper conversation about, I think God is asking me to leave my paid role.
And this is what Jesus did. He helped the poor and needy, and this is where I feel that I can follow in Jesus' way, on his path to help the people in Aberdeen.
Well, as missionaries, we hope you don't think that we are super saints. We really are just folk like you, and that's the great thing, that God can use anybody who makes themselves available. And just like you, we go through our ups and downs in family life.
God is faithful to his promises, and sometimes we have to wait a long time to see the fulfillment of the things that he tells us, the things that he promises us. When God intervenes and we have encounters with him, he will do exactly what he has promised and what he has said, and often it's in unexpected ways, as it has been for me.
You know, 3 a.m. on Saturday night in Union Street, talking with a group of boys or girls, but all of this has come from a number of significant encounters with Jesus. And my experiences would say this: if you experience the presence of Jesus, then you're going to experience the purposes of Jesus.